Today, let's go over the law of cosines. The law of cosines kind of looks a little bit like the Pythagorean theorem, as you'll see. For any triangle ABC, the law of cosines relates the cosine of each angle to the side lengths of the triangle. All right, so depending on what you're given, you can use this equation. So if it's a squared that we're looking for, then we'll use b squared and c squared minus 2bc cosine of angle A. And then if we're looking for b squared, we'll use a squared plus c squared, and then it'll be minus 2ac cosine of angle B. And then if you're looking for c squared, you'll use a squared plus b squared, and you'll minus the 2ab cosine C. All right, let's see how that looks in an example. We will label this A and this B, and actually no, because they already labeled it for us. This will be C and B that we have. So we're looking for A. All right, A squared is going to be equal to B squared, which is 10 squared, plus C squared, which is 8 squared, minus 2 parentheses, our B was 10, and our C was 8. And then we have to do the cosine of angle A, which is 57 degrees. And we'll just simplify that. Ten squared is 100, 8 squared is 64, and 2 times 10 is 20, 20 times 8 is 160. Then we'll simplify 100 plus 64 is 164 minus 160 cosine 57. So we're just simplifying. And now I can put that in my calculator, and that'll be what a squared equals, so we'll also have to take the square root of that. After putting that in my calculator, I get 76.86, and there's some more decimals after that, so in my calculator I'm going to do second square root of second answer, and that gives me A equals 8.77 if I round it. So that's what we get for this A. All right, moving on to the triangle GJH, or GHJ. We are given two sides and an angle, and so we're going to do the same formula. Let's call this A, which we're looking for. So A squared is going to equal, by the way, I'm just going to put the square root in here so you guys know how we got to this piece. We'll do 12 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 12 times 18 cosine of 110 degrees. Now I have to simplify everything. So I'm just going to put 12 squared in my calculator plus 18 squared in my calculator. So together these equal 468 minus, now I'm going to do 2 times 12 times 18. I get 432 cosine 110. So now I'm just going to put all of that into my calculator. 468 minus 432 cosine 110. And I get 615.75 dot dot dot. Then I want to take the square root. So in my calculator, I'm going to do second, and then it's the x squared button, second and the negative button, so that I have square root of my answer. And that is going to be approximately 24.8. And that looks about right, because that would be my side A, and it's longer than my other two sides. All right, I want you guys to try this one, DEF, using the same format for cosine. So I'm going to pause the video, give you some time to work, walk around and help people, and then we'll return to the video for example 5. For example 5, it says use cosine to find a missing angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the cosine function. I'll label this A, B, C. So we have A, which is 4 squared, is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC. Cosine, and it's pointing, since we're figuring it out for A, it's pointing to the x. So cosine of x. We got to simplify this and solve it for x. So this is 16. 6 squared is 36. 7 squared is 49. If we add 36 and 49, we get 85. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 7 is 84. So minus 84 cosine x. Now we have to solve for x. And it's a two-step equation. And then we'll have to take the inverse. So we're going to subtract 85. And then it's going to give us a negative, but that's okay. So 16 minus 85 is negative 69 equals negative 84 cosine x. Now I have to divide by negative 84 to get cosine x by itself. So negative 69 divided by negative 84 is approximately 0.82, and that equals cosine x. But to figure out what x equals, I have to take the inverse of that. So in the calculator, you're going to have to do second cosine of second answer to figure this out. So second cosine gives me the inverse cosine of my answer, which is 0.82 dot dot dot. It's better if you use the second answer in the calculator so that you get the exact. And that is going to equal approximately 34.77. I'm just going to round to 34.8. That is the measure of angle x. All right. That is just one of the angles. We have to find one more using the same thing so that we can figure out the third missing angle. So if we did x, let's now do y. And I am out of space. Maybe I'll try and fit it up here. So y is pointing to 6, So that's what we're trying to figure out. So we're going to do 6 squared is equal to the other two. 4 squared plus 7 squared minus 4 times 7 cosine, and we're looking for y. All right, so 36, because 6 squared. 4 squared plus 7 squared is 65. 4 times 7, oh, I forgot the 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. So 56 cosine y. I'm sorry, let me write that a little bit smaller just so it fits. So 65 minus 56 cosine y. I have to solve for y, so we're going to subtract 65 from both sides. 36 minus 65 is negative 29 equals negative 56 cosine y. I'm not going to show this step just because I'm running out of space, but I'm going to do negative 29 divided by negative 56. And that gives me 0.517. It goes on and on. Approximately is equal to cosine of y. Now to figure out what y equals, I have to take the inverse. So I'm going to do second cosine to get the inverse of second answer. And that will give me y is equal to approximately 58.8 degrees. All right. Now I have this degree and I have this degree. If I add those together, so 58.8 plus 34.8, I get 93.6, and then I subtract it from 180, I get 86.4 for my third angle. So that's x, y, and then z would equal 86.4 degrees. I'm sorry, I should have left more space to figure this out. All right, last question. The optimal tilt for Keenan's solar power is between 58 degrees and 60 degrees to the horizontal. Has Keenan placed his solar panel at an optimal angle? So we want to know, is this angle here, angle P, between 58 and 68 degrees? All right. Well, it points to 19, and that's the angle we're trying, or that's opposite the angle we're trying to figure out. So we will do 19 squared is equal to 18 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 18 times 20 times cosine of P. Let's simplify that. 19 squared is 361. 18 squared plus 20 squared is 724. 2 times 18 is 36, times 20 is 720. Cosine of P. Again, we're going to solve it, so we're going to subtract 724. That's negative 363. This cancels. Negative 720 cosine P. Now I have to divide by negative 720. And I get approximately 0.5. And that's equal to cosine P. Now we have to take second cosine to get the inverse of second answer. And I get P is approximately 59.7 degrees. Is that between these values? Yes. So awesome, he did set it up at an optimal angle. And that completes our notes on law of cosines.